A stainless steel straw pierced the girl's mouth. Her mother said the girl had been drinking water and accidentally tripped over the dog. Such a severe injury required immediate hospital treatment. Just as the paramedics were about to stabilize the straw, the sight of light red blood caught their attention. The girl had only injured her mouth, and her hearing was unaffected. The paramedics' words completely terrified her. They quickly had the dog taken away and tried to calm her down. If she became too agitated and moved the straw, the consequences could be disastrous. But in such a situation, who could remain calm? At this critical moment, the pink cup on the floor gave the paramedics an idea. The girl's emotions soon settled, and they quickly rushed her to the hospital. The girl shoved a harmonica into her mouth, intending to perform a trick for her livestream audience. But like a light bulb, it was easy to put in and hard to take out. Firefighters quickly arrived at the scene. Unable to speak, the girl communicated by playing the harmonica while her friend translated. It would have been best to go to the hospital, but her friend explained that they had no insurance or money for an ambulance or hospital stay. Understanding their situation, the firefighters brought lubricant and pliers to forcefully remove the harmonica. To keep her from moving, a firefighter held her head steady. Despite this, the girl continued complaining to her 8 livestream viewers. The firefighters didn't stop her and used the moment to warn viewers not to put random things in their mouths. After some effort, they successfully removed the harmonica, though her face would take time to recover. The man accidentally knocked over the wax, spilling it directly onto the woman's face. Realizing the serious trouble he had caused, the man quickly slipped away. A few minutes later, the staff arrived at the scene and were shocked by what they saw. The wax had already solidified, tightly sealing the woman's nose and mouth. Firefighters rushed to the scene. One of them noticed a familiar bracelet, leaving everyone bewildered. Just a few days earlier, the woman had suffered another accident, being injured by a falling chandelier. Now struggling to breathe, she became increasingly agitated. Seeing her distress, the firefighter quickly held her hand to comfort her. Once she calmed down, he took out a scalpel and made an incision on her lips. However, it was discovered that the wax had penetrated deep into her throat. Realizing the urgency of the situation, as she was at risk of immediate suffocation, the firefighter swiftly inserted an airway tube into her throat and placed an oxygen mask on her face. Fortunately, the woman could finally breathe normally. Yet, a new challenge arose. The wax required a temperature of over 100 degrees to melt, and attempting to do so could cause secondary burns. With no safer option, the firefighters had to transport the woman to the hospital for professional medical treatment. A man's eye popped out of its socket. Firefighters carefully pushed it back into place. Earlier, his friend, trying to boost their live stream's views, had strapped him to a spinning wheel and spun it wildly. They used a motorcycle's rear wheel to accelerate the spinning wheel at a crazy speed. Soon, the motorcycle's tires started smoking under the strain, but they didn't care, thrilled by the high viewership. That was until the motorcycle burst into flames. The two ran off immediately. When firefighters arrived, the man was still spinning uncontrollably. They quickly extinguished the fire and stopped the wheel. By then, the man had passed out. His pupils were unnaturally dilated. The firefighters carefully removed him, dripped saline into his eyes, and gently pushed his eyeball back into place. After emergency treatment, the man finally regained consciousness.
I can see.
A woman was lying face down in the cement, deeply embedded. A cement truck had overturned in the middle of the road. The driver was trapped inside, barely breathing. A man told firefighters to ignore the driver because a woman had been knocked into the cement. They tried to pull her out, but the cement's adhesion was too strong. It took half a day just to lift her head. After relentless effort, they managed to free her upper body and quickly pulled her out. But she had stopped breathing. After cleaning the dirt from her face, firefighters discovered her mouth was stuffed with something. They dug out a lump of cement. They weren't sure how much was packed inside, but they eventually removed a hefty 2 kilograms of it. Still, she didn't wake up. Paramedics arrived and immediately used a suction device, inserting it into her mouth and turning it to the highest power. After coughing up another clump of cement, the woman regained consciousness. The firefighter smiled with relief and jokingly asked his teammates what cement tasted like. She got stuck on her own balcony. Her feet were hanging in the air, she couldn't climb up or get down, so she shouted for help. Her son called 911. Soon, firefighters arrived and set up a ladder. Down below, the neighbor was about to grill meat, but froze when he looked up and saw a pair of legs kicking above his head. It turned out to be his new neighbor. Firefighters quickly placed wooden boards under her and put a life buoy around her to prevent her from falling. The balcony was old and poorly maintained. The wood had rotted, which caused her foot to slip through and get stuck. She said she was a single mother caring for a sick son. Her savings were gone and she had no money to fix it. Her stingy landlord refused to help. The firefighter saw the pale boy inside and felt sorry for them. Soon, the woman was pulled out, but her leg had a deep tear. She needed stitches and a tetanus shot at the hospital. One firefighter kindly stayed behind to help care for the sick boy.
Get it out! Get it out! Get it out! Get it out!
The firefighter inquired about the object the young girl was holding. As she lowered her right hand, it became apparent that a fish hook was lodged in her eyelid, presenting a challenging situation. The firefighter assisted the girl in lying down on a nearby recliner and reiterated his request for her to remove her hand from her eye. It was essential to detach the bait from the hook before she could be transported to the hospital. The girl, visibly frightened, was gasping. To comfort her, the firefighter assured her that the procedure would be painless, but emphasized the importance of remaining completely still, like a statue. He then meticulously removed the bait, commending her bravery throughout the process and gently helped her sit up afterward. There was one final step to take. Since eye movements are coordinated, it was necessary to cover her uninjured eye as well. The girl complied by closing her eyes. The firefighter crafted a small padding with gauze and carefully secured the fish hook. Once completed, they helped the girl to her feet and escorted her to the hospital. Just now, while a woman left to use the bathroom, the charging cable on her bed short-circuited, sparks flew out, and in the blink of an eye, the entire house was engulfed in flames. Firefighters arrived. The house was filled with thick smoke, pitch black inside. The woman was curled up in the bathroom, her consciousness somewhat hazy. Just as they were about to take her away, she said, "Hold on." Due to the urgency of the situation, the firefighters directly carried her out of the house. The fire grew stronger. The firefighters immediately turned on the water hoses, and the flames were extinguished soon. At that moment, the woman couldn't stop coughing. Having difficulty breathing, she endured the pain in her throat. Struggling to shout and name Charlie, the captain realized there was still someone inside. The firefighters were notified to continue the search. Travis suddenly heard a faint groan. Everyone started calling out Charlie. Then Jack pinpointed the location. The firefighters gathered around, lifting a burnt chair, and there was Charlie. It turned out Charlie was the woman's pet dog. They then concluded the rescue amid the applause of the crowd. When you were drunk, what stupid things did you ever do? Last night, this woman got drunk and tried to take a shortcut by going straight through. As a result, she got stuck in the wall crack. The woman had been trapped there for 12 hours. Now she was still trying to move, but Andy told her not to. She had been stuck for so long that she had crush injuries. Andy wanted her to try to hold one of his fingers, but she couldn't. Jack had already arrived on the other side of the wall. Suddenly, the woman became emotional, feeling a tightness in her chest. She started talking incoherently. Andy knew she had to calm her down. She then tried to use a crowbar to create some space. Jack waited for the right moment, following Andy's order. Jack squeezed out a lot of lubricant. Then Andy used all his strength to pull the woman out.